So welcome to Potalic Mines, everyone. I've come out this afternoon hoping to get a few shots of the Crown Mines there you can see in the distance. Absolutely beautiful location. I come down here regularly, it's one of my favourite locations to come to. And each time I come, I'm absolutely always blown away. It never fails to impress me just how stunning it is. So the plan today was to shoot some Ilford Delta 100, and I'm back on my Mamiya RZ again today. I thought I'd give that one a whirl. And yeah, I'm just hoping the light pops through. It's looking quite promising. It's a bit overcast at the moment, but I think there's a bit of clear sky over there, and I'm hoping we'll get some nice last minute soft light coming through. And the plan was just to play around, get some different exposures, possibly some long exposures, and yeah, just to have a little wander around, see if I can find some new compositions. Okay, so I've set the first shot up of the Crown Mines. I'm using the 110mm lens. It's a slightly tighter crop in on the mines there, but it's wide enough to incorporate some of the water and the rocks down there in the foreground. And because I'm using a 10-stop filter, I'm hoping I get some nice movement down there in the sea and the rocks, and possibly the sky. But it's very light winds today, which is really, really lovely, but I don't think you'll get too much movement in the sky. Exposure time is at a minute, so it is possible. A bit of light just poking through now onto the faces there of the mines, so I'm hoping we can pick that up. I'm going to get the shot here now because it's starting to look quite promising. So like I say, 1 minute, f11. So I am going to stick on the wider lens here, so I get a bit more of the cliffs in the foreground in. So I'm going to quickly switch this one over. Go from the 110mm lens to the 50mm lens, which is equivalent to about 28mm on a full frame camera. So I've actually turned the camera around the other way. I quite like the scene the other way as well. Lovely bit of soft diffused light coming through, hitting the sides of the cliffs there. And there's an old engine house up top there. Hopefully I can incorporate that. It might be quite small in the scene, but it's a focal point, something of interest. I am including these rocks here, sort of trying to lead you in, but the way they're going, it's not really the direction I was hoping for, but I'm going to take it anyway. I'm using the 10-stop filter. Exposure time on this one is 30 seconds, and that's at f11. So I'm going to take one more shot here facing the Crown Mines again before I have a walk over to the other side. I'm trying something a little bit different this time. I'm actually sticking on the red filter on top of the 10-stop neutral density filter. Bit of a gamble really, I'm not quite sure how it's going to turn out, and also exposure time is a bit hit and miss. So what I've done is calculated the exposure time with the red filter, then calculated from that the exposure time with the 10-stop, and then added on reciprocity failure on top of that to get the correct exposure. And the idea of that is I'll get lots of movement in the water, and this sky here, which is really blue now, not much cloud, so there won't be much movement in the sky. I'm hoping that turns nice and black. So it's a bit of a gamble, it might not work, worth a shot though I think. And with all those combined together, I've got an exposure time of 5 minutes, so definitely going to capture a lot of movement. But like I say, that's what photography is all about, isn't it? You take chances, and sometimes they completely fail, and sometimes you get shots that you're absolutely over the moon about. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here, and yeah, we'll just see how it comes out. So I've walked back up the hill, and this scene here, I really like it. I love this path leading you down there towards the mines. It's absolutely beautiful, and it'll be a nice lead-in line as well. So I've set the camera up. I am sticking with this crazy combination of the 10-stop and the red filter. So it may be something I really regret. Probably will be, but I'm going to stick with it for now anyway. And the reason I'm doing that is the sky, there's just nothing in it anymore, just blue. By darkening it down a bit, it'll add a little bit of atmosphere, make it a bit more interesting. That's my reasoning anyway. It might be something I regret, like I say. Exposure time for this one is I'm at f11 and exposure time of 4 minutes. So I'm slowly working my way around. I've stopped here because I want to get a couple of shots. The plan is to get one with a wide angle lens. Going to be using a 10 stop with that one, but no red filter this time. And then after that, I'm going to get one with a 250mm telephoto lens. That's a really tight cropping on the engine house there by the sea and the rocks. And I'm not going to use any filters at all on that one. So the first exposure, they're both at f11. The first exposure is at 1 minute. And the second one is no filters, and that's 1/60th of a second. So I'm almost at the mines now. I've pulled over once again. I'm now shooting directly into the sunlight, which obviously makes it a bit more tricky. So what I've decided to do is stick on my freestop graduated filter, and hoping that is going to just bring down the sky a little bit. I won't be able to recover all the highlights, but it should improve it and make it a little bit better. So I'm going to get the image here. Settings wise, I'm at f11, and that is 1/60th of a second. So I made it down to the engine houses. Absolutely glorious down here. Just enjoying this last bit of sun. 3 images left, and the first one I'm going to shoot is going to be looking down onto the bottom engine house with the sea below it with a 10 stop filter, and I'm hoping there'll be lots of movement in the water to make it quite an interesting image. Second image, I'm going to be shooting of the top engine house looking straight up from below with a red filter, so it should be a nice black sky, quite a nice contrast with a really nice soft light on it. So that's my second image, and then my final image I'm going to be shooting directly out into the sun there, because I love these rock stacks and the formation they're in. So that's the plan for my last 3 images.